Hey guys, Seth here, and it just wouldn't be if it wouldn't be a Shinra video if I didn't play this music. You have to agree that this is definitely fitting to the situation. So Legacy of the Valiant just dropped, and we have a new archetype, and this is your guide to the Shinra archetype. So what you realise first off when you look at this archetype is in fact that most of these cards get their effects when they're revealed from the top of the deck and sent to the graveyard. Now they won't miss timing because they're all if effects, so if the card is sent to the graveyard, if it's revealed and sent to the graveyard, it gets its effect. No matter what happens, it will always happen. Now the key things to realise here is there are certain good cards and there are certain bad cards. In this case, we'll go through them all. Shinra Peacekeeper. I know what it says, but I'm calling it Peacekeeper. When it's normal summoned, reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's plant type, then send it to the graveyard, otherwise return it to the bottom of the deck. Now, its second effect is what matters here. Once it gets sent to the graveyard, revealed and sent to the graveyard, you can target a level 4 lower plant type monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. Now, here's the deal, that could be Lone Fire Blossom. If you start with a Lone Fire first turn, and let's say you have a Shinra Spirit Regia, which is the level 8, and you reveal Shinra Peacekeeper, send it to the graveyard, bring back Lone Fire because Peacekeeper's effect triggered, and you'll draw one, you'll be able to use Lone Fire yet again and special summon yourself something like a Talia. You'll be able, the Cherub, Sakura, whatever her name is. And the new card, which is a Cherub, which I just kind of forgot there for a second. Now we'll go through what you should be running and what you shouldn't be running. Now, for a start, Peacekeeper, always at 3. Always at 3. Shinra Leaflo. This is a card that will pop one monster on the field if it's revealed and sent to the graveyard. Also, when it's normal summoned, you can reveal 2 cards from the top of your deck and blah 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 blah, the usual stuff, the plant type monsters to the graveyard stuff. And every Shinra will have that effect in some form or another, so be aware of that. This card should be run at 2. Shinra Leaflo probably at 2. I would say you could stretch it to 3 if you want to. You could stretch it to 3, but I would not run it more than 2. Shinra Stool. Stool is a card that should only be run at 1, if at all. Now, what you have to realise is, first off, every other card is basically when it's normal summoned or once per turn you can reveal something. This card is very different. Instead, it says when this card is flipped face up. Now, you can't normal summon Stool and, you know, get its effect, so try to remember that. It has 100 attack, 2000 defense. It's a fairly high defense card, and it can probably survive most level 4 attacks. So, you know, there's no harm in putting that in face down defense mode. It reveals the top 5 cards, and when that's sent to the graveyard, if it's revealed and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy 1 spell trap card on the field. So, it's, you know, it's something you run at 1, maybe, or not at all. Shinra Knights, I don't even know. I'm calling it the Shinra Knight. Shinra Knight, you normal summon it and you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's plant type, blah 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 blah. If a card effect reveals this card in the deck and sends it to the graveyard, you choose 1 Shinra card from the deck and place it on top of your deck. This card should be run at 3. Always run this card at 3. Of course this card should be run at 3 simply because it has so many pluses. It is a Shinra card, not a Shinra monster, not a Shinra spell or trap. It is both, it covers both. So he's a good card, run him at 3. Shinra Tree Fender Orc. This card in particular I run at 2, only because most of the time I can find a way to either have Lone Fire or I special summon him I normal summon him some way, or you know, there's Dandy, there's Lone Fire, there's ways to get him out. He's not that difficult to get out. So, you know, I do run him at 2. And people might say that's bad, but the thing is I like his first and second effect. His first effect reads that you can reveal up to 3 cards from the top of your deck and, you know, any plant types and blah blah blah. And his other effect is that, you know, if he's revealed and he's sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can target one other plant type monster in your graveyard from that target to the top of the deck. Now that's able to be milled for its effect, or you could use it for your next draw. Let's say Shinra's Peak reveals Orc and it sends it to the graveyard. Orc can bring back Lonefire and your next draw will be guaranteed to be Lonefire Blossom. So it's a really good card, it's a really good card. Or in the other case, you know, if you can find another way to mill out the top of your deck, let's say you do it on your turn and you've still got your normal summon to use, you could basically use Orc, get Shinra's Peacekeeper back to the top of your deck, normal summon Knight. Knight will then send the top card from the deck to the grave, which will be Shinra Peacekeeper. You'll be able to special summon one of your Lonefires back from the graveyard and then use that card's effect. So it's really good, and I just run him at 2. Nothing crazy, but I do run him at 2. Shinra's Spirit Tree Regia, I think it's Regia, and once per turn you can reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a plant type monster you can send it to the graveyard and draw 1 card as well. Otherwise return it to the bottom of your deck. Now he's a level 8, so he needs to be summoned through Lonefire, or you're going to have to mill Dandy, put the tokens onto the field and then tribute those tokens. That's pretty much the only way you're getting him out. And if a card effect reveals this card and deck sends this card from there to the graveyard, you can look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, then return them to the top of the deck in any order. So this card is really good, just as a draw engine, completely as a draw engine. He's a mill 1 and a draw 1, so he's got his advantages. He's definitely got his advantages, and I would consider running him at 2, just because of Lonefire and because he can still be tribute summoned and he still has his effect. So, you know, on the occasional dead draw, you may get, the Spirit Tree Regia in the hand with the Spirit Tree Defender Orc. But this is where cards like the aforementioned Shinra's Blessing comes into place, and also where Sacred Shinra Peak comes into place. And Sacred Shinra Peak is a field spell, really good looking field spell as well, and during your main phase you can send 1 plant type monster from your hand or face up from your side of the field to the graveyard, choose 1 Shinra card from your deck and place it on the top of your deck. It can only be used once per turn, and then once per turn during your opponent's end phase you can reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a plant type monster, send it to the graveyard. Otherwise put it to the top of your, the bottom of your deck. Put it to the bottom of your deck. So let's say you do draw Regia and you do draw Orc, you could easily send them to the graveyard with Shinra Peak, and then you'll be able to bring back a Shinra, let's say a Shinra Peacekeeper or a Shinra Knight for your next draw. There's a million options you can do, and it's all predictive plays. That's what I like about this deck. I do kind of like that about this deck, is you have to let your opponent know what you're about to draw or what is at the top of your deck, and then either get it away from the top of your deck before you can do something about it, or you're going to draw that card. And it's about predictive plays. It's about you predicting what your opponent's going to do and setting up before he can, try to figure out what it is that you've got in your hand or what's left in the hand. So to finish this off, guys, I'll try and make this quick. For tech choices, you should be running Archfiend's Oath. You absolutely should be running Archfiend's Oath. Archfiend's Oath is a card that you pay 500 life points, and then you can look at the top card of your deck. You declare the top card of your deck. If it's the card you declare, you add it to your hand. It is absolutely great, and people are saying to me, you should run Convulsion in Nature. Now, whilst cards do get put back to the bottom of the deck, what you also have to realise is that 2 cards setup is a lot to ask. If you're putting Convulsion in Nature and with Archfiend's Oath, then it's just like, why even bother doing that? That's 2 cards. it's such a situational setup. You may as well just instead use Shinra's Peak first effect. You know, put a Shinra card to the top of your deck, use Archfiend's Oath, declare that card's name that you added to the top of your deck, and then add that card to your hand, and then use it from there. You see, the whole point of these Shinra cards is in fact RNG, which is, you know, just basically randomization. It's a random chance to proc something in World of Warcraft, but in this case it's a random chance to activate something. In this case, let's say Leaflow or Peacekeeper. You mill out cards, any number of cards from the top of the top of your deck, and it could be something good, it might not be something good. So it's got a lot of luck, and to be fair, it's very forgiving. It's kind of like the new Lightsworns. This reminds me a lot of the Lightsworns, and I like it. I like it a lot. There'll be new optimization changes to make to this deck, and what I will say is Plant Food Chain and things like Mark of the Rose is good cards to run. The one card I haven't covered is the Rank 8 XYZ, because it is not a very good card. Once per turn you can declare the one card name, reveal the top card of your deck, and if it was declared name, add it to your hand, otherwise send it to the graveyard. So basically it's Archfiend's Oath. If a card effect sends a card from the deck to the graveyard, you can attach one material from this card, then target one card on the field. Return that target to the bottom, either the top or the bottom of the deck. You can only use that effect once per turn. So basically, if you have Foolish Burial, or you have Shinra's Peak on your opponent's end phase, you could, in essence, put one of his cards back to the top or the bottom of his deck. It's not a bad effect for rank 8. As rank 8s go, this is one of the better ones, but it's still not very good. It's not very good, and it has 2,300 attack and 3,200 defense, so it's clearly not meant to be used as something to attack. As ever guys, I've tried to keep this commentary as short as possible. You know, it was a full explanation of the archetypes so far in Legacy of the Valiant. Comment, like and subscribe, let me know what you think of this deck, and have fun testing it.